It must have been an interesting week around the breakfast table in the Sunak household. As the person who sets the tax rules for all of us, the tax arrangements of the Chancellor's own wife have dominated the headlines. Why? Well, Akshata Murty is rich, very rich. Her father founded the Indian tech giant Infosys, and she owns shares worth nearly £700 million. Last year, she received dividends on those shares of £11.6 million. Now, despite having 3 homes in the UK, if you include Downing Street, she is not resident in the UK for tax purposes. She's a non-dom, which means she doesn't have to pay UK tax on income earned overseas. For Ms Murty, that non-dom status means she's paid around £2 million a year less in tax than she would have done as a UK citizen. Now, up to about 48 hours ago, the Chancellor said the arrangements of his wife, a private citizen, had nothing to do with his role as Chancellor. It was a part of a campaign, he said. To smear my wife, to get at me, is awful. But that position has changed. Yesterday afternoon, Ms Murty issued a rare personal statement, first seen by the BBC, in which she said, "Many feel my status is incompatible with my husband's role as Chancellor." She went on to say, "I understand and appreciate the British sense of fairness." However, she is retaining her non-dom status, and that has future tax implications. It means her family can choose to pay inheritance tax here in the UK at 40% or at 0 in India, which abolished inheritance tax in the 1980s. At current values, that could save her family at least £280 million. Now, this is all perfectly legal. There are thousands of non-doms in the UK. It was introduced by Pitt the Younger at the end of the 18th century, and it's been offered to rich people ever since to encourage them to live, work and spend money here in the UK. Nevertheless, it is very uncomfortable for a Chancellor who has final oversight on all tax matters here in the UK, including the rules around non-doms. And he's raised overall taxes during the biggest squeeze on UK incomes since the 1950s. Now, there's a further twist in this tale. It's emerged that Mr Sunak and his wife both held green cards. That's a pass that allows you to live and work in the United States. It requires you to commit to the US as your permanent home. Mr Sunak held on to this for 18 months after he was appointed the second most powerful politician in another country, this one. And although got no tax breaks, he may have continued to pay taxes to the US government while in office here. So, what does his boss make of all this?
I think it's very important in politics, if you possibly can, to try to keep people's families out of it. What I will say is that Rishi and I are working very hard on a massive long-term British energy security strategy. That's what we're focused on.
And Simon's with me. Full support there?
I thought it was quite interesting, his choice of words there, saying it's keep your family out of it wherever possible. An admission perhaps that sometimes it's not possible to keep your family out of it, and this is one of those moments.